What's up guys, it's Mega giving you yet another deck for Link Evolution guys. Today we're going to get our game on and we're going to do a hero deck. This is not to be confused with my other one which is a Neo-Spacian hero deck. This is a pure variant of a hero deck. We are using evil heroes, destiny heroes, elemental heroes, masked heroes, extra heroes. We have got them all boys in this deck. It's absolutely fantastic. This is different to any other request because no one has actually requested it, but I've been meaning to make this deck for a long time, and with them actually topping, well not topping, well actually in getting into top 16 in a few TCG online tournaments, I thought why not, let's have a crack at doing this deck finally. If you're struggling to make this deck guys, any deck shown so far, check out the card hub. Not if it tell you what card is in this game or not, it will tell you where to find it, like a campaign, challenge mode, or any of the card packs. That is in the description down below, please check it out. And with that guys, let's get into the video. On us off guys is 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Springs. It's a fantastic hand trap where should your opponent do anything from the deck, like add a card from the deck to the hand, special summon from the deck, or send a card from the deck to grave, you just discard her, she shuts down the effect, and she's absolutely fantastic. On to some heroes. The main reason why you're here, we've got that 1 copy of Destiny Hero Celestial. When this card declares an attack, you can destroy a face-up spell your opponent controls, and if you do, inflicts 500 damage. A bit of a niche effect, because the main reason you'll be using Celestial is because of its graveyard effect, where if you control no cards, you can banish it and a Destiny monster and draw 2 cards, which is actually pretty sweet, because say for instance you go first and you have your board, should your opponent wipe it, you can play Celestial, draw those extra 2 cards that you need and go off from there. Absolutely fantastic, and because he's a Destiny monster, it will come in handy with some extra cards. That 1 copy of Destiny Hero Dynatag, or Dynadude used to be called, during damage calculation, should you take damage, you can discard it and take no battle damage, which is actually pretty neat. Can protect you if need be. He also has another great graveyard effect where you can target a Destiny hero you control, banish this card, and that monster you control will gain 1,000 attack points. You can only do that during your turn. It doesn't work during your opponent's turn, please bear that in mind, but it's just sweet, giving you that extra push should you need it. Now I am running only 2 copies of Destiny Hero Malicious simply because I haven't got space in the deck for the 3rd Malicious. So for Malicious guys, you can banish it from your grave and special summon another copy of Malicious from your deck. So simply when you go into any of your plays with like Fusion Destiny, or like just having to send, or like with Shadow Mist sending a monster to the graveyard, you are able to banish that Malicious, boom, have another monster in the field for free. It's the main reason you do it, just getting that free summon out. And on to one of the best Destiny heroes in the deck is Destiny Hero Plasma. Plasma in the anime is the most powerful Destiny hero of the lot, simply because it can be special summoned to your side of the field by tributing 3 monsters. Please bear in mind I just said special summon, so that means you could do all your amazing plays, then just tribute 3 monsters, special summon Plasma. Absolutely easy to do. Plasma has an ability guys where all monster effects on your opponent's side of the field are negated. So they aren't doing anything, and a lot of decks, especially combo decks, rely on a monster to get their plays going. Yes, some activate spell and traps, or use a spell card, but then they use a monster to extend their plays. They won't be able to do that because of Plasma. And also Plasma has an effect, like a Kaiju effect kind of, in a way, where you can steal, or no, not in Kaiju, like a Cyber Dragon Infinity effect in a way, where you can target a monster your opponent controls and equip it to Plasma. If it was face up, Plasma would gain half that monster's attack points. If it was face down, Plasma unfortunately won't gain any attack points. Please bear that in mind, but it's just great shutting down your opponent. That 1 copy of Elemental Hero, Honest Neos, it's like Honest, but on steroids. So it works is you can discard it, target a hero monster you control, and just say the word hero, so it can work on all of our monsters apart from Ash Blossom, and you can give them 2,500 attack points, which is absolutely insane. Also, you can discard, as a quick effect, we can discard 1 hero monster, and this card would gain attack equal to that discarded monster. That's if you want to summon out Honest Neos. But at the end of the day, you're just going to keep it in your hand, and when you want to go for that push, or should your opponent attack into you, you can just discard Honest Neos. On to Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier, one of the best cards to go into straight away when you can for a fusion play, because if this card is sent to the graveyard for a fusion summon, you get to draw 2 cards and then you get to discard 1. Which is actually a pretty useful effect because again you get to search out those key cards for combo extenders, keep going. And it also has a niche normal summon effect where you can target a level 4 lower monster in the grave and special summon it. So it's actually pretty good going on your second turn if your board got wiped. The 2 copies of Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. Now, if this card is special summoned, you can add one of our mass changes from our deck to our hand, which is actually pretty nice. Also, if this card is sent to the graveyard, which is the main reason why I would use Shadow Mist, is because you get to add a hero monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use 1 effect each turn, so please bear in mind please be careful which one you're going to use, but 90% of the time you're going to be just discarding sending Shadow Mist to the grave in any way to proc its effect. That 1 copy of Solid Soldier. Now, Liquid Soldier would special summon a monster from the graveyard. Solid Soldier lets you special summon a monster from the hand, or a hero monster from your hand. All of our monsters are heroes apart from Ash Blossom, so you've got a lot of targets for this effect. And also, which is actually pretty nice, and it's the main reason why you do it, because then you can go into like bigger link plays, and also gives you more monsters on the field if you want to go into Plasma. The 3 copies of Elemental Hero Stratos. Stratos is a combo starter, guys. Simply, your normal summon Stratos, it has a couple of effects. You can either destroy spell or traps up to the number of monsters you control, except Stratos. So if you have Stratos and 4 other monsters, you can destroy 4 of your opponent's back row, which is pretty nice. Or you can add 1 hero monster from your deck to your hand. And being able to search any one of our monsters is pretty key, because if you want to, like, for instance, search out a Duster's Gold because you want to go into the evil hero play, go for it. If you want to go and search a Vision Hero because you want to go into like more of a combo play, by all means. Or if you want to go for Plasma because you want to do that, your world's your oyster with Stratos. And then for the evil hero Augustus Gold, you can discard this bad boy and add Dark Fusion or Dark Calling. We are running the Dark Calling from your deck to your hand, and because he is an evil hero, you use Dark Calling and Augustus, or Adustus, sorry, to go into Malicious Bane. And then we've got the 3 copies of Vision Hero Forest. The reason why I want to run 3 is because you want to see this guy near enough straight away. If not, you have Stratos to get into it. So you can discard one of your hero monsters. Doesn't matter if it's a Destiny, Elemental or Evil, whatever. The world's your oyster. You can special summon this card, and then if you do, you can. And if you do, you can place a Vision Hero from your deck in the spell and trap card zone, being the next monster rule cover. Then, which is actually pretty nice. Then the next monster is Elemental Hero Increase. So if this card is in your spell and trap card zone, you contribute 1 hero monster and special summon this card. And if you do, you can special summon a Vision Hero monster from your deck. So the main combo is, guys, say for instance that Vision Hero Varus is in your hand, plus Malicious, plus Destiny Hero Malicious. You would discard the Malicious, to special summon the Pharos. Pharos would then put Increase into the spell and trap card zone. Increase will then tribute Pharos, special summon itself, and will place Vision Hero Viron in and will summon Vision Hero Viron, I should say. And then when Viron is normal special summoned, you get to send a hero monster from your deck to your hand, which means you can then send that Shadow Mist to the graveyard, because then Shadow Mist's special ability will then let you search any hero you want, which then you could, for instance, add Liquid Soldier. And then Viron has an additional effect where you can banish any hero from your grave and add Polymerization to your hand, which means you go into a fusion play, and then you've instantly got access to Sunrise plus Miracle Fusion, and you even haven't got into your normal summon yet. That's why it is actually pretty cool, guys. That's why you're doing all these plays, because you're doing all this without even going to your normal summon. Then if you have access to Stratos, do Stratos, search out another monster. Your world is your oyster, guys. We've got that lone copy of a Hero Lives. Fantastic magic card, guys. If you control no monsters, you can pay half your life points, special summon a level 4 or lower elemental hero, being that elemental hero Stratos, because then that can search out whatever you want and just get your board rolling. It is limited to 1, guys, and this is great for your opening hands or just anything to get monsters onto the field. That lone copy of Dark Calling is searchable with Adustus Gold, and basically you can summon out a evil hero using monsters in your hand or graveyard. So that's why you discard out the you discard a Duelist Gold, because then Dark Calling just removes it from play with any one of your level 6, or I think it's level 6 or above monsters, or level 5 or above monsters, and then you go into Malicious Bane. That 3 copies of Emergency Call, this lets you add any elemental hero from your deck to your hand, and it's a not once per turn. So if you are lucky enough to open all 3 of them, add 3 elemental heroes, whatever you want to your hand, guys. It's quite as simple as that. Then we have got 3 copies of Fusion Destiny. Fusion Destiny is like a fusion card only for your Destiny heroes. So you can special summon out Dystopia or Dangerous using Fusion Destiny. And then if you, however, if you do, it locks you into dark monsters only. So if you do play Fusion Destiny, please bear in mind you can't go into Sunrise or Absolute Zero or stuff like that. But if you go into them first, you are not restricted. You're not restricted. So if you play them first, then play Fusion Destiny, doesn't particularly matter. It's not going to lock you out of anything. And also, the monster that is summoned is destroyed during your opponent's next end phase, which is actually a downside, but at the end of the day, you can get 2 monsters into the graveyard, being that Celestial or that Dynatag, along with a Malicious. Then you can use Malicious to basically banish yourself, search out a monster. You've got 2 monsters on the field from activating 1 magic card. That's the main reason upon using Fusion Destiny. We've got those 3 copies of Mass Change, guys, because we are running some masked heroes. It is a quick play card where you can target any hero you control and summon out a masked hero from your extra deck that has the same attributes. So if you have Send a Dark, you're going to Send a Dark. If you have Water, you summon the Water, and Light and Earth, and so on. And it's absolutely great because it's a quick play. You can chain it to a lot of cards' effects and get around certain plays. We've got that 1 copy of Miracle Fusion. It is searchable with Elemental Hero Sunrise, and it's basically the Elemental Hero version of Dark Calling, where you banish monsters from your graveyard or field to summon out an Elemental Hero Fusion monster. So, and there you can go into Absolute Zero or another monster we'll get into, and you can go into extend your combo plays. That polymerization, guy, is useful for your fusion summonings, and also this is searchable with Viron simply by removing a hero monster in your graveyard from play. You don't need the 1 because you don't really need more, and it is recyclable with one of our monster's abilities. We've got that lone copy of Reinforcement in the Army. It's like we're running, guys, 3 emergency calls because you get to add a level 4 or lower warrior from your deck to your hand. Near enough, all of our monsters are warriors, so you're going to search out a lot of cards. On some traps, guys, I've got 2 copies of Infinite Permanence. I decided to run 2 because of another trap we'll get into in a second. So Infinite Permanence is a hand trap, guys, literally a hand trap, because if you control no cards, you can play Infinite Permanence from your hand. Also, it's like an Effect Veiler on steroids, because Effect Veiler can be called by the grave. Infinite Permanence can't be called by the grave because it's not a monster. So that's absolutely great. It also has an additional effect, guys, where if you set it and then activated the cards, any magical trap in the same column as Infinite Permanence will be negated onto the end phase. So it can actually stop a lot of key cards your opponent has. And then finally, we're running that 1 copy of Majesty Alchemist. I did have this at 2, but I took out 1 for a different play, and I decided to cut this down to 1 because it's still very useful. So guys, you banish 4 hero monsters from your graveyard. When you do your full combo and everything, that is not an issue. And then you get to target a hero monster in your grave and ignoring its summoning conditions. So for instance, if you have the Destiny hero Plasma, your opponent, I don't know, Kaiju's Plasma, you can play Majesty Alchemist, banish 4 of your heroes that you don't care about, and just resummon Plasma back to the field, or it even works the same for all of your fusions like Malicious Bane and stuff like that. Absolutely great, guys. That's the main reason why you do it, because again, you can just resurrect those pesky cards like Plasma, who has a restriction. And on to some on some of the extra deck, guys, some fusion monsters. We've got the Destiny hero Dangerous. I didn't really go into this all that well, but it's still very useful. You need a Destiny hero plus a dark monster. A lot of our monsters fulfill those requirements. It's a good way to get evil hero Augustus Gold into the graveyard. Actually, no, wait. Augustus Gold's a lot attribute. Never mind. I was about to say it's a good way to get Augustus Gold into the graveyard for if you had Dark Kunyan, but fortunately it's a lot attribute. Forget I said that. it is a good way to get malicious in the graveyard though for the quick play. The also effect is if you have a Destiny hero in your hand, so you can send a Destiny hero from your hand or deck to the grave, and you do, it'll gain, if you do, or Destiny heroes including itself, will gain 200 attack for each of your Destiny heroes in the grave, which is actually pretty nice. Nice in a way, but I mainly go into the next Destiny hero, which is Destiny Hero Dystopia. So if this card is special summoned, you can target a level 4 lower Destiny hero being that celestial and deal damage to your opponent equal to its attack points, which is 1600, which is actually a pretty sweet special ability. It also has a quick effect, guys, where should its attack points change, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. So that means if you chain Dystopia with Sunrise, Sunrise gives all your monsters an attack boost, which will mean Dystopia's attack points are changed, which means you can then have a quick effect to destroy a card in the field. Pretty nice effect, guys, I'm not going to lie. We've got that one copy of Elemental Hero Absolute Zero. Absolute key, guys, you need a water and a hero monster, which means you're going to use a Liquid Soldier to go into this card. And you don't really care about its effect where it gains 500 attacks, you don't really care about that. Its other effect is absolute fantastic. So if this card leaves the field, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls, and it doesn't matter how this card leaves the field. If you linked it away, if it gets compulsed back into the deck, what else? If you tribute it, if it gets destroyed, as long as it leaves the field, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls, which is absolutely a very powerful ability. It's like a Regeki in monster form. We've got that one copy of Elemental Hero Escuridia? I can't not pronounce that name. It's again an Elemental Hero plus a Dark monster. The reason why I decided to run this is because, again, Fusion Destiny locks you into only Dark monsters. So if you had to use that Fusion Destiny, you could still go into this monster and get another monster on the field. Its effect is it gains 100 attack points for each Elemental Hero in the graveyard, which is actually pretty easy, and it makes this card, especially combined with Sunrise, will have an absurd amount of attack points. And speaking of Sunrise, guys, you need 2 hero monsters with different attributes, because it has hero, could be any type of hero. So with this bad boy, all monsters you control will gain 200 attack for each different attribute you control. So the more attributes you have, the more attack points you're going to get. And if this card is special summoned, you can add a Miracle Fusion from your deck to your hand. So again, you go into Sunrise, you get that Miracle Fusion, boom, you could go into Absolute Zero, and then that way you've got 2 monsters with different attributes, and they're going to gain more attack points. It has another effect, guys, where if an attack is declared involving another hero monster, so if you attack or if your opponent attacks involving a different hero, you can target one card on the field and destroy it, which is actually pretty nice, because say for instance you attack with another monster, you can play Sunrise to either pop an opponent's back row or pop another opponent's monster, then that way you get around 2 pesky cards, guys. Pretty sweet. That one copy of Evil Hero Malicious Bane. It's an Evil Hero plus a level 5 or higher monster with a Justice Gold plus all of our level 5s, Forest, a lot. You can go into this bad boy using Dark Calling. It has an effect, guys, where it cannot be destroyed in battle or by card effects, giving it a lot of protection. Also, it can destroy all monsters in the field or all monsters your opponent controls whose attack is less or equal to this card. And if this card, obviously, attack is changed via Sunrise, that effect is increased because obviously it's gaining more attack points. And also, if you did this card, and also if you did destroy monsters, this card gains 200 attack for each monster your opponent, also for each monster that was destroyed. However, the downside is you cannot declare an attack for the rest of the turn except with hero monsters. That's not going to be a restriction to us because all of our monsters are heroes, so it's never a restriction. It's a good way to clear your opponent's board, and also it's got some sweet abilities which pretty much prevent it from leaving the field near enough. On some Masked Heroes, guys, we've got that one copy of Masked Hero Acid. The reason why I run Acid is because, again, if you, for instance, play that Mass Charge on your Absolute Zero, you can force it to destroy all monsters on the field. And then, Acid, if it's special summon, can destroy all spell and traps your opponent controls. So, being able to fully wipe your opponent's board of all monsters and magic and traps just by playing a Mass Charge is absolutely powerful. Really great effect. And then we've got that one copy of Masked Hero Anki. It's a dark attribute. A lot of our monsters are dark, so you can go into this pretty easily. This card can attack directly, but if it does, it inflicts half the attack points, which is 1,400, which is not that bad. But if it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can add a mass charge from your deck to your hand, which is not a bad effect. But but it's a good way to get over that last 1,400 points of damage should you need it. We've got one copy of a Masked Hero Blast, which is the wind attribute, because we do run a few winds with that elemental hero Stratos. So if this card is special summoned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half, which is actually not that bad. And also it has an effect where during either player's turn, you can pay 500 life points, target a spell or trap your opponent controls, and return it to the hand. And because that's a quick play effect, you can wait till your opponent ends their turn, set a card and end the turn. You play this card's effect, bounce it back to the hand, because if it's a trap, yeah, they can't activate it that turn. So it's a pretty nice effect to kind of control your opponent's board and slice that opponent's attack points in half. 2 copies of Masked Hero Dark Law, guys. The best dark attribute in my opinion, one of the best. So if any card is sent to if any of your opponent's cards are sent to the graveyard, they're banished instead, and a lot of decks don't like cards that are banished. Believe me, they prefer them to be in the graveyard. Also, should your opponent add a card from the deck to hand outside of the draw phase, you could banish a random card from your opponent's hand. So just being able to constantly just discard, force your opponent to keep discarding them, and again, because they won't go to the grave, they'll be banished instead. That card's kind of gone forever. It's absolutely a fantastic card to go into. If you have this and just any of your dark attributes, your world your oyster, guys. On to some links. We have got 2 copies of Extra Hero Cross Crusader. This is like the Destiny Link monster, if you get me. So if this card is Link summoned, you can target a Destiny Hero monster from your graveyard. So you can resurrect that down attack, that malicious, or that celestial. And then it has another effect where you can tribute a Destiny Hero monster and add any hero monster from your deck to your hand with a different name. So the main reason why you'll do this is because it can search out Plasma along with obviously a lot of your other cards. It's just another way to search out another hero monster. But in a way, this can search out any of your heroes, so you can go into Augustus Gold if you really want to. But the main reason I use this is because of Plasma. Because again, you get that extra monster back, you get to search out that Plasma, you world your oyster. And 1 copy of Extra Hero Dread Dismantle? I can't pronounce this guy's name. This card, also any hero monsters it points to, will gain 100 attack for each hero monster with different names in your graveyard. Also, he has piercing damage, which means if you combine this with Sunrise, he's going to gain, both your monsters are going to gain a lot of attack points. Also, if he's pointing to, for instance, Elemental Hero Escuradia, I think that's how I pronounce his name, it's going to get even more absurd attack points, because obviously it gains 100 attack for every monster in the graveyard, and he basically will give that give him another 100 attack for every hero in the graveyard. Oh, it's absolutely fantastic when you combine the two. They gain to a absurd amount of attack points, guys. And then finally, we've got that copy of Extra Hero Wonder Driver. So if any hero monster is normal or special summoned to a zone this card points to, you could target any of your polymerizations or any of your fusion cards or a mass change from your graveyard and set it. So this recycles mass change, your fusion destiny, your polymerization, and your miracle fusion, which lets you just keep recycling. Also, it has a floating effect where if this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard or by card effect, you can special summon 1 hero from your hand, which is actually a pretty sweet effect, because for instance, if you play that Stratos, its effect will then activate, then you search out another card, which is actually not a bad effect. And that's it for the deck, guys. I kind of rushed it a little bit, but you'll see a lot more in the replays. This deck is really fun to play. I actually enjoyed it. It is not a hard deck to play. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. So it's actually a very fun deck to play, because it's like playing as Jaden Jaden the Supreme King and Aster in one like complete deck. It's actually very fun. I really enjoyed playing this deck. If you enjoyed this deck or have any decks or have any way to like change this deck, let me know down below. If you enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing. Either one helps out the channel. I shall see you guys in a actual deck request where I will actually be doing something. I just wanted to make this as a side one just because it's so fun to play. And with that, guys, wherever you are in the world, I hope you enjoy the replays. Take care and goodbye.